All right, welcome back to Cooking with a Veteran. As always, I'm your host, Dave Rogers. And today we're going to be making some Cajun style rice with chicken. And I kind of spelled it wrong on Facebook. I spelled it as stuli, which is a Polish word for chair. So basically we're going to be making some Cajun chair rice chicken. All right, so I got it back on my regular Facebook page. What I have now going on is I had the chicken. The chicken was brining, of course, as always, you know, that word brine. But I placed the chicken in the oven for half an hour with some of my andouille sausage. Andouille sausage. And, you know, andouille is part of what makes some great, oh, look at that. Ah, that looks amazing. All right. So I've had my chicken in the oven for about half an hour. I covered it only for the last about 15 minutes. I'm going to go ahead. Actually, let me get that andouille sausage off. I'm going to place that on some aluminum foil. Alright, so I'm going to put the chicken breast aside for a little bit. I already have my andouille sausage in here in the pot. Let me grab a small bowl, excuse me. Alright, I'm also going to put this to the side for now, because I don't want this to overcook. And the great thing is, because I cooked up the chicken and the sausage, I now have all of this flavor in the pan. And so I'm going to cook with this flavor, which is going to add some really nice taste to the meal itself. So I got the pan going high. As always, I'm going to start with some onions and some mixed peppers. I'm going to place that in there. Okay. And remember, you don't want to burn them. You just want to saute them up some so they're nice and soft, almost translucent. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit because this is one of my cast iron coated pans. They get very hot, okay, and they hold the heat really well, which is great. All right, that's looking beautiful. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to throw in my fresh garlic there. I'm sorry, my fresh ginger. Okay. I forgot the garlic. Not a problem. I have plenty of garlic. Ah, there it is. Normally I would add the big chunks, but since I forgot to cut it up, I'll just add a nice spoonful of garlic. Flavors are amazing. Alright, we're doing this Cajun style, which means a little bit of spicy. So of course, I have over here, I have some nice frying pepper. I have a little bit of some habanero pepper. And I have a few of those Thai chili peppers left over, so I'm going to use those. And I'm just going to put all that into the pan also. I also got some of the white part of the green onion. I'm going to throw that in there. Okay. Going to go ahead and squeeze in a little bit of lime juice. And let that cook up. Ah. The flavor, the smell is just amazing. Alright, so those are cooking up beautifully there. I'm going to move them to the side. There's a little bit of char on the bottom. It's not burnt, but it's a little bit of char from the pepper. I'm leaving that in there because that's going to add some nice flavor also. So normally I would put in some nice tomatoes, some red tomato. Today I'm using a little bit of green tomato. I love the flavor that green tomato has. If you ever had fried green tomato, it's really, really good. And down south, you can get some really great tomatoes. Alright, so I got the tomatoes going there. I'm going to put in a little bit of my fresh parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Hanging out with the beetles too much. And then a little bit of seasoning, because I've pre-seasoned the chicken, and you got the andouille sausage. I don't have any salt in here because a lot of the seasoning that I'm using is kind of salty. I have my adobo. I actually found this adobo with red chili pepper in it, which is really nice. I added some. I found this great smoked paprika. I tried this out yesterday. It tastes amazing. I love it. Some black pepper, some white pepper, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to mix that in there. Okay. I'm going to let the tomatoes and everything soften up a little bit, and to help along with that, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add a little bit more of my Jesse Jane Dupree bourbon, just a touch. All right. To add some flavor in the bottom. Ah, I wish you could smell what I'm smelling. It's amazing. Alright, while that's doing that, I'm making rice, so it's going to be, I need 4 cups of water for the amount of, I'm making 2 cups of rice, so it's 4 cups of water. And I'm going to do like I did, if you remember when I made my Spanish rice, I used some of the liquid from the corn. And I'm going to just pour that liquid in there from the corn to help make my broth. Okay, and that brings me up to about 3/4 of a cup. I'm going to add in, this is my vegetable stock. I'm going to add that in. See how much I got left. So up to 3 1/4 cup. And then I'm going to add some white wine. You know I love cooking with wines. And this is a Pinot Grigio. I love a Pinot Grigio for any type of Spanish rice. Just gives it a great flavor. Alright, so I'm going to put that in there. Let me check on my... these are coming along beautifully. I'm going to add in some tomato paste to the center there. Okay. I'm going to add in just a little bit of crushed red pepper. Mix this up. Alright, this time I'm going to add back in the andouille sausage. Okay. Oops, missed a piece. And if you don't know where to get that, you know, most markets, you know, a lot of the big chain markets don't really carry it. But a local market, especially if you have a Spanish population nearby, they'll have it. Or you can go to a Spanish bodega somewhere in your neighborhood and get some. Alright, that's coming along beautifully. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add in my corn. I know I'm using canned corn, but you know, I grew up on canned corn. I'm too lazy to cut the corn off the, no, seriously, I don't do it, I don't cut the corn off the cob directly, because you'll get some of that stalk bottom. And it just takes a lot of time to really clean all that up. You know, if I was making this in a big pot for a lot of people, I would probably take corn on the cob, cut it into slices, and stick it inside. Alright, I'm going to add in my broth. I know what you're saying, that looks really full right now, right? It does, but it's going to be fine. It's going to reduce down while it's cooking. All right, I'm going to let that sit for a moment and boil up. And while it's doing that, I'm going to take a look at my chicken here. Okay. I went to the market and I was going to do like just regular chicken breast, but I do like to cook with the whole chicken breast if I can get a nice piece of it. All right. So I brined up the meat some. It's mostly on the skin side. So I do want to kind of open this up some. Okay. And I want to make sure that, because I'm going to cook this with the rice, and I want to make sure that it's cooked through. I want to make sure that the flavors get all the way throughout the meat in there. All right, so I got that open up. And what I'm going to add to that, go back in my fridge here, and I'm going to get some of my Irish butter up. And I have some nice, a little bit of basil here. So I'm going to take my Irish butter here. I'm going to cut some up, cut some slices off. I'm going to stick those slices in the side of there. I want to get a nice golden crisp to inside the chicken as well as outside of the chicken. So I'm going to stick my butter in there. Yeah, I need some more pieces. More pieces of butter in there. All right, I'm gonna put some more, just a little bit more of my smoked paprika. Be careful because actually I'm gonna pour it on my palm. Needs some crushing. I got some smoked paprika. I'm gonna pour just a little bit more on top. Squeeze on a little bit of my lime. Put some more black pepper on it. Put a little bit of fresh garlic on top. You see the butter's already melting down, which is perfect. All right, so now my chicken is prepared. My water is starting to boil some. I was waiting for a full boil, but I'm going to go ahead at this time. I'm going to add in my rice. Okay. And I'm using, again, some yellow rice. Right. I'm going to mix that around. I want to be careful. I don't want it to spill over. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let that boil up to a full boil for a minute. Once it comes to a full boil, I'm going to place my chicken on top of the rice, and I'm going to stick it back in the oven for another 30 minutes or until the rice is fully absorbed up. Take it out, let it sit and relax for a little bit, and then serve it. So that's my episode today of Cooking with the Veteran. I hope you enjoyed joining us again. As always, if there's something you'd like to see me cook, go ahead and reach out to me and let me know. And, please be sure, make sure you like, follow, share my episodes out there. And until next time, hoorah.